Hi everyone, welcome back to Ria's collection. Today I am going to make some delicious brown butter banana bread. This is an exceptionally good way to use up all those leftover overripe bananas, and browning the butter takes this banana bread to another level. Let's begin. So right now I'm going to make a little bit of buttermilk at home. So I have added some white vinegar into the measuring cup and I have topped it up with some whole milk. Let's set it aside for 5 minutes. Now into the skillet, I am going to add the butter as we're going to start browning the butter for making this banana bread. So when you do this step, do it on a medium to medium low heat, because once the butter gets browned a little too much, it's going to taste very different and you'll have to start it all over again. So now the butter has melted, you can you can listen to the sounds. It makes a very vigorous sizzling sound and the browning happens soon after. So the milk solids are going to separate from the fat and it's going to go down to the bottom of the pan and it will change color. So you're looking for a little more darker than a golden brown. You'll definitely be able to smell it as well. It's going to smell nutty and a little bit of caramel-like. So right now, the brown butter is ready. You can see the milk solids have turned a nice dark brown in color. So straight away, add that brown butter into another mixing bowl. So the next step is to add in some mashed up bananas, and I'm going to add it right into the hot browned butter. You can choose to puree it as well if you like a smoother texture for your banana bread. And now I'm going to add some salt, some white sugar, some light brown sugar, the buttermilk that we made earlier, some oil, some vanilla extract for some extra flavor. And now I'm going to give this all a good mix. Mix it up really well. So if you look closely, you can see chunks of bananas in it because I mashed it up with a fork. But if you want, you can puree it in a mixie to a fine puree. I just wanted to save myself from cleaning another vessel. And I also like the texture in my banana bread. So once it's all mixed, we're going to set it aside till it's fully cooled. I'm going to now mix up all the dry ingredients. We're going to set that aside. You can also mix it up with a whisk or use a sieve to mix it up well. So now that the mixture has cooled down completely, I am going to add in eggs. I'm using 2 eggs here. So crack that open, both at the same time. And you're going to whisk it really well using a whisk. Make sure the egg gets mixed in really well into the mixture. You don't want chunks left over. And now we're going to add in the dry ingredients. At this point, you can switch from a whisk to a spatula because you want to do this step very gently. Any bread can be easily overmixed if you're not folding it gently. And so if you're not very careful about it, or if you're not very sure about it, switch to a spatula. So if you're using a whisk like me, make sure you tap out the dry flour that gets stuck in between the whisk every now and then and just fold it in or gently mix it all together until there's no more flour to be seen. You have to be very careful in doing that because once it's overmixed, there's no going back. It's going to turn out very rubbery. So if you want your banana bread or any kind of bread to be nice and moist and tender, just fold it in till the last bit of flour gets mixed in. I just switched to a spatula to scrape everything into the bowl. And all I'm doing right now is ensuring that there's no dry bits of flour trapped in between. That's it. So now let's transfer this into my favorite loaf tin. I'm sure you are kind of, getting tired of seeing the same loaf tin being used for all of my recipes. So this measures 8 inches on the longer side and 5 inches on the shorter side. And I've also lined it with a parchment sling. You can choose to line it the way you want. You can even butter and flour your tin if that's what you want to do, okay? And now let's transfer the prepared banana bread batter into the loaf tin. If you like, you can also fold in some toasted nuts and do that when you were mixing the dry ingredients into the wet. Or you can just top it up with some nuts. So when you're topping it up, you don't have to toast it. So I'm going to bake this at 180 degrees centigrade or 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about an hour. The banana bread looks perfectly baked. The color is amazing on top, and I'm going to insert a toothpick to see if it's fully cooked. Yes, there's no batter clinging to it, which means it's completely baked. And I'm going to let it cool for about 10 minutes and then take it out of the tin to cool it completely. So it's been 10 minutes now, so I'm using the parchment sling to pull the bread out so that it can cool completely on the cooling rack. This bread, when you touch it at this point, especially on the sides and on top, it can feel a little firm, and that's how a banana bread is usually. But when you cut into it, it's very tender and soft inside. Our brown butter banana bread is now ready to be served. I hope you try this recipe at home and let me know how you like it. Until next time. Bye.